very tempted to put it down on the ground and take it out for a ride. All right, it's the 1st of February of 2025, and it's time for a V8 944 update. It's been really cold and lots of snow on the ground around here, and they pour tons of car dissolving salt on the road around here whenever anything happens. So this car is just sitting in the garage waiting for all that to go away. What we're doing right now is we're doing an oil change. We're also going to talk about some of my expectations when we first did this conversion and the purpose of the car and all that stuff. So, as I've said in other videos, I've owned quite a few of these cars. A couple 944 turbos, a couple 3 924 turbos, 924s, and 944s. 2019 June, we bought this car. It was in reasonable condition. It ran, it drove, and everything, and had the 3-liter 4-cylinder in it. And we put the 3-liter up for sale. It was a very popular engine, so it sold right away, no problem. And I got very, very decent money for it. And I bought this 6-liter V8 and the conversion kit from Renegade Hybrids. And we set about doing the conversion. Still, by June of 2020, we had the car fired up and on the road. And a couple of things that I didn't like about it affect these pedals and this here wheel. It turned out that doing this conversion changed everything. Starting down there, clutch pedal is a bit tricky. It's not that it's too heavy or anything, but it grabs very suddenly and kind of low. Anybody else who's gotten in this car and tried to start out in it has stalled it the first time, just because the clutch grabs quickly down below. That's not something we can do a whole lot about without changing the clutch. The second thing was the brake pedal. Since the V8 head on the driver's side occupies the space where the brake booster was, you can't run the brake booster. So there's a plate that replaces the brake booster, and you just run the brakes manually, and you take the brake pedal out and re-drill it to change the pivot point so that you can get a little more mechanical advantage with your foot. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with manual brakes. They work great. It's just that you have to push them. The problem with this car is the firewall is a little weak around that area for some reason. I didn't realize this before. So essentially what you do is when you get to the hard spot on the pedal and you're pushing on it, that you're pushing the firewall too, and that's a little unsettling. So we fixed that. We came up with a brace that holds the firewall pretty good. And we also upgraded the front brakes to to a set of 996 Porsche 911 brakes from the 2000s, and they actually work really good. The throttle pedal, naturally you got a V8 in there, so wide open. It's wow, it's a lot of fun. But with the fuel injection system that we had, we could never get it to run very well at idle or at low speeds, like tootling around in a parking lot in first gear. It just would not do that. You put it in first gear and start out and try to go, less than 15 miles an hour, it would just start bucking, and you'd have to push the clutch in and rev the motor, and it really looked like, it was embarrassing because you looked like you could not drive a stick shift car. Now that we've converted to carburetor, that problem is gone. And one other item that I didn't really expect, because most of the cars that I've had were manual steering and had similar size front tires to what this car has, is this car, manual steering wise, is really difficult to steer at low speeds. It's like there's no way you would autocross this car, just because I mean, I would have to go to the gym and build up my upper body strength before I could ever autocross this car, just because it takes so much effort at lower speed to get the wheel turned really far. So we've got the brakes fixed, the middle pedal, and the pedal on the right is now fixed. Pedal on the left, we're gonna leave it as is, because I don't think that's a big deal, but we're gonna do something about this. So here's the plan to get our steering lighter feeling and a little easier to race around at slow speeds. This is the original steering rack from this car. As you can see, it's a power steering rack. We're going to put that back in. Well, I mean, we'll do a little work to it first. That there is our power steering pump. So we have, if you follow back 5 years ago when we were putting this car together, I wasn't sure what to do about the belt setup, since it includes the power steering pump. So my solution was pull the pump apart, pulled all the vanes out of the pump, and then it's just a shaft. Put it back together, filled it with transmission fluid, and crimped off the pressure line and the return line. What we did yesterday was order a new pump. The power steering lines from the Holden Commodore / Chevy Caprice police car that this engine came from. And the procedure then is to marry those lines to these lines that are on the 944 steering rack. And that'll be the next fun that we have with this car. Let's see how our oil change is doing. All right, old oil's out, new oil's in it, old oil filter's off, new oil filter's on. This will be a little bit of a moment of truth, because I haven't started this car in like 6 weeks. If you look right there, this battery says 5 of 18. That means this battery is like 6 years old. And I'm amazed that it's been working this long, because the car sits a lot, and usually that kills batteries. But hey, we'll turn it on and see what happens. Okay. Well, the 6-year-old battery managed to come back to life. Got oil pressure. Got oil. very tempted to put it down on the ground and take it out for a ride. But we're at least going to leave it run for a little bit, just to charge things up and stuff. I don't like that sound. Sound of salt and crap being thrown up into the wheel wells. Up this hill just to see. Here, 25, third gear, 1700 RPMs. Yeah, it's still just, oh, I hate that noise. Still just putters right along with no trouble. We're looking at fourth gear going up the hill. 1600 RPM. No worries other than all this salt and crap that's on the road. And it just picks up right from there, even at fourth gear. This thing wants to run, man. I sure do miss driving it. I think we're going to have to clean the underside of this thing again. That's always fun. Well, that was fun. Normally the kind of fun I don't get to have during the winter. So, yay. Well, it still runs great. Still does everything great. Next project, power steering.